we have Akira Tozawa versus Pac for Mercury Rising. Very underrated. This match is awesome. You know, Tozawa and Pac, just, they had the crowd. The crowd of Mercury Rising was great, I would say. You know, definitely. It kind of captured that same WrestleMania, you know, weekend feel that Kenta and Davey had, just a little bit. Next up, we have Masato, Yoshino, and Pac versus Naruki and Ricochet from Dragon Gate USA's United Philly. From that weekend, you know, they had a lot of tag team matches. They were crowned the first ever Dragon Gate USA Tag Team Champions. And this is the match that stole the show from that whole weekend. The main event from the Philly show. That's pretty much all I have to say about it. My Quackenbush versus Hallowicked from Chikara's Anniversario. This is the first match from the 12 Large Summit Tournament, and it really was kind of one of those friendly rivalry type of matches. You got great chain wrestling, just a lot of great reversals, just excellent mat wrestling here. Just really, really good stuff. You know, Quack is definitely the best technical wrestler probably in the United States right now, besides Danny Bryan. Next we have Antonio Honda versus Dick Togo from DDT. Excellent stuff. This was very, very violent, I would say. Just a lot of great intensity behind the strikes and the punches. Very, very bloody as well. These two guys absolutely sold the fact that they hated each other. So there you go. That was Antonio Honda versus Dick Togo from DDT back in, I believe, back at the end of January. Next we have John Cena versus CM Punk from SummerSlam. Triple H is the guest referee. I thought kind of dragged the match down a little bit. It was one of those matches where it was like, yeah, definitely not as good as Money in the Bank. The crowd was a little bit less enthusiastic, but it was still good though. It was still really, really solid. You know, and Kevin Nash, I thought the stuff with Kevin Nash was really good actually. I thought he did a great job. I thought some of the promos that Punk and Nash cut on each other were good. So, you know, Kevin Nash getting involved. Alberto Del Rio won the belt. And I would say that, you know, Del Rio winning the belt was a good move, actually, you know, because, you know, I don't know, people criticize WWE for not really, you know, going full-fledged with Del Rio, and then they criticize for not going all the way with Punk. So you really can't make anyone happy, but at the end of the day, I thought they did a great job. You know, obviously, I think you had to have Del Rio win the belt before the year was over, and they did it in a way where Cena lost 2 pay-per-views in a row, so Cena had to win the belt back at Night of Champions, which was totally understandable, because I think it would have made Cena look weak to lose 3 pay-per-view matches in a row. So they kept Cena looking strong. They kept, you know, Punk eventually won the belt back, and, you know, you had to give the belt to Del Rio. So I thought it was fine. I think what they did from a business standpoint, as far as getting all 3 guys on the same level, I thought they did a beautiful job with that. Next will be Leaders of the New School versus Future Shock from WXW. Definitely, they had, you know, when Leaders of the New School came out, they came out with this really, you know, techno-driven song, and the crowd was just going like a mosh pit. They were like, play the music. And, you know, this was good. I'll probably give it maybe about 4 1/4. Just great, amazing tag team wrestling here. Just, you know, one of those matches where, you know, the young tag team guys rocking the house. Next we have Davey Richards versus Roderick Strong from Honor Takes Center Stage. This is a lot better than I expected. You know, I mean, a lot of people were kind of sick of seeing these two wrestle, but you can't deny it. Every time they get into the ring, it's still there, though. You know, the match, and a little bit more storytelling here. You know, you had some really the transition into the ankle lock to end the match for Davey was sweet. I would definitely say that, and very, very stiff and a lot of intensity, like all Roderick Strong and Davey Richards matches are. All right, next up we have Eddie Kingston versus Claudio Castagnoli. This is from Chikara's Creatures of the Tar Swamp. This is a great main event because Eddie and Claudio, I mean, you thought this might have been the blow-off match, but it definitely wasn't. It actually progressed the feud even more. And the beatdown at the end of the match, probably one of the best heel beatdowns of the year, was Claudio and Eddie Kingston. Next up we have Ricochet and CIMA versus Dragon Kid and Pac from Kobe. Dragon Gate's Kobe Festival, the match of the night from that show, probably. I mean, this tag match was insane. This is definitely the best match of the year if we're talking about athleticism, moves, high spots, you know, near falls, and just, you know, pure athleticism, and just really awesome stuff. I don't know why nobody voted for this, because this is insane. All right, so I'm going to move on to the actual list now. It's not going to be in the exact order as the list from the video. I kind of cut out the matches that I haven't seen. So at number 41, we have Hiroki Goto versus Tanahashi for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship from New Japan's Dominion pay-per-view. This is very, very underrated. I think this probably should have got a little bit more votes if some more of the pro wrestling fans had voted for this match, had sent their votes in. I think this probably would have been a lot higher. But like I said, this had a great, one of the best Japanese crowds of the year. Definitely probably Tanahashi's match of the year. So definitely, if you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor and watch it on YouTube. If the match is that good, it's definitely, it should have been higher on the countdown. Next up, we have Sekimoto and Okabayashi. Probably, definitely, in my opinion, from what I've seen, the tag team of the year from Japan versus Seiya Sanada and Manabu Soya from All Japan's March 21st show. A really, really long tag match with a series of sick combination spots. They did a lot of crazy moves in this match, and also you had a lot of stiffness. I thought Sekimoto looked great, and definitely one of the best tag matches of the year. Definitely worth going out of your way to see. I definitely think it was definitely worthy of the list. Next up, we have the World's Greatest Tag Team versus the American Wolves. One of the most overrated matches of the year from Honor Takes Center Stage Chapter 2. I'll probably say Haas and Benjamin's best match so far. A lot of the match, though, felt very, very rehearsed. It felt, I don't know, I didn't think Haas looked good at all here, to tell you the truth. Once again, that's just my opinion. I thought Davey and Eddie's effort was awesome. Pretty good storyline progression here with, Davey and Eddie kind of, fucking each other over to lose the match. But still good stuff. It's at least a 4-star match. I just don't understand why people think it's 4.5 or 4 3/4. Definitely not. Next up, we have Davey Richards versus Zack Sabre Jr. from WXW. Very universally praised. Probably the most universally praised Davey Richards match of the year from the 16 Karat Gold Tournament. A lot of people that are very, very critical of Davey actually thought Zack kind of brought the best out of him here. And I kind of agree with that. I definitely think Zack Sabre Jr. is, some people were kind of disappointed with him as the year went on, but, I think he's a hell of a talent. And definitely think, if he's one guy from the international scene that I think probably wouldn't be that expensive to bring in the Ring of Honor. Next up, you have Christian versus Alberto Del Rio, the Extreme Rules ladder match. This is when Christian won the World Heavyweight Championship. I love the booking to this match. One of the most feel-good moments of the year with Christian winning the belt. Christian Del Rio proved that you can have a great ladder match without, having a lot of crazy spots, because it really wasn't anything that crazy. It still had the fans on the edge of their seat, and still thought it was a great ladder match. Next up, we have CM Punk versus Alberto Del Rio versus John Cena, Hell in the Cell. I like this a lot. I thought it was cool how, Del Rio actually locked Cena out of the cell. Very, very creative booking there. The first time a triple threat match in Hell in the Cell. I really liked it. Next up, we have Kenta versus Segura from Noah. I would say probably better than Kenta's match with Go Shiozaki. Definitely, this is the #1 contenders match in Noah from Pro Wrestling Noah Faith show. I believe it's from October. And one of the stiffest matches of the year, definitely. If this match had happened during Segura's title reign, the match that Segura and Kenta had during the reign wasn't that good. This was a lot better. And if it did happen during Segura's actual reign, you definitely have to put Segura in contention for maybe, I'm not so sure. I'm not really that well known about Noah's GHC championship history, but I would say Segura definitely probably a top 5 champion. If maybe if you added a little bit more matches to his resume, because he did have an awesome reign. And this is the type of I'm trying to say this is the type of match that Kenta and Segura should have had during Segura's reign, because it would have made it feel that much more awesome. Next up, we have Connor versus Sarah Del Rey. This is from Chikara's, what was the name of the show? Clunk of Love. Yeah, this is, in my opinion, I haven't seen the ladder match from WSU, but in my opinion, this is the best singles females wrestling match I've ever seen. The match is that good, and didn't even have a bottom rope. So next up, we have All Night Express versus the Briscoes, Ladder War 3 from Death Before Dishonor. Yeah, I would say probably the weakest ladder match. I would say that Ladder War 2 is a little bit better. I think I kind of jumped to the conclusion after the match is over. It's easy to say that this was better than the second one, but it wasn't. I would definitely say it wasn't. Really wasn't about the ladder. It was more about just trying to, bust each other open. It was more, the contract thing was kind of secondary. It was, and once again, Ring of Honor, one of the frustrating things, was having this match not be for the championships. I thought this could have meant so much more if the championships were at stake. Next up, we have Kotaro Suzuki versus Eddie Edwards from Noah. All right, you know, a lot of people were very critical of this match. It kind of felt like they wait. Hello? All right, so next up we have Eddie Edwards versus Kotaro Suzuki for Suzuki's junior GHC heavyweight championship belt. And you know, this is the first match where Eddie really got a lot of time in like a main event. You know, even before any of his Ring of Honor stuff, it really set the tone for the great year he would have. A lot of complaints about the match though, about it dragging, how it felt like they were just kind of trading spots at the end of the match. But I thought it had great pinning predicaments, great reversals, nice near falls. A pretty hot crowd for a Noah crowd, and so I really liked it, actually. Next we have Claudio Castagnoli versus El Generico at number 31. This is from Kurt Russell Reunion. And yeah, Claudio was great here. You know, they told a great story too with, you know, the submission wrestling. Claudio busted out some really sick and you know, awkward looking submissions that would just kind of make you cringe. And once again, these two guys, they've had great chemistry for years, and this is just another great match from them in the main event of probably the biggest PWG show of the year. Next up, we have number 30. We have Kaz Hayashi versus Minoru. This is from the All Japan, I guess from the All Japan television show from back in the beginning of the year, from January. Awesome stuff, man. If you haven't seen this, definitely check it out. Kaz Hayashi's been great for years. This guy Minoru is really cut up. He's in great shape. And these two guys had you know, a great technical match, but at the same time, it was fast paced, it was athletic, and it had pretty good psychology as well. So that was Minoru versus Kaz Hayashi. Number 29, we have the SmackDown Money in the Bank ladder match. The markout moment of markout moments, or one of the best markout moments. Daniel Bryan winning the Money in the Bank ladder match. Maybe a little bit of people kind of overrated the actual match because of the moment. You know, I've seen some people kind of criticize the match for being a little bit too all over the place. But I think with ladder matches, though, you could get away with that. And with this, it really had you on the edge of your seat. You know, you really, with these Money in the Bank ladder matches, sometimes they're so unpredictable. That's what kind of makes the match. And you know, I thought every single guy in the match really, you know, shined, and you were convinced that pretty much all those guys had a chance of winning, even a guy like Kane. And you know, so Daniel Bryan actually, you know, won the Money in the Bank ladder match, won the briefcase. Great moment. Number 28, El Generico versus the 1-2-3 Kid in Chikara. Probably one of the most, probably the nostalgia moment of the year on the Indies. At least one of them, man. You know, who knew Generico could get this kind of match out of the 1-2-3 Kid, X-Pac, at King of Trios, man. Just a great finals for the Rey de Valadores, man. Excellent stuff. Number 27, Roderick Strong. Oh, one thing I will say about that is it's kind of weird to see X-Pac in the PG environment after having that sex tape with China come out. It's just kind of like, it's kind of hard not to think about that in the midst of all the, you know, PG Chikara-ness. Number 27, Roderick Strong versus Jay Briscoe. And I, for the record, I did not watch the China Xbox sex tape, for those that are wondering. I wouldn't watch it if anyone paid me. Number 27, we have Roderick Strong versus Jay Briscoe from ROH's Only the Strong Survive. Yeah, this is awesome. Underrated. You know, I think to me, Jay Briscoe could be the next Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think he's that good. You know, I know he loves his brother. I know he wants to, you know, go with his brother to the WWE if they had the chance. But I think this guy on his own could be the man. You know, he's proven it this year. He can have great brawls, and he can cut great promos from the heart. And him and Roderick Strong had one of the most impressive and surprisingly fucking awesome matches of the year. It was very bloody. It was crazy with Roderick, you know, wiping the blood all over his face, and everyone's going, "You sick fuck, you sick fuck." And Jay Briscoe was, you know, usually Jay Briscoe title matches are a filler. Go back to the Nigel title match, or even the Jerry Lynn title match. Those are like the definition of filler, but this wasn't at all. This is a great main event. Next up, we have. Oh, I didn't even see this match, so I can't really talk about it. That was Sekimoto and Okabayashi versus Suwama and Soya from Big Japan. YouTube actually took it down when I was going to watch the actual match. Next up, we have Kenta versus Takayama. This is from Noah back in January. This was a fight. A lot has been said about this match already. I think True Slayer has it on his channel as the match of the year. Very, very short, but very fucking brutal though. You know, Kenta, you know, pissed Takayama off with the slaps and the, you know, I mean, the way Kenta approached the match was vicious, and the way Takayama fought back was even more vicious. So, next up, number 24, the Destination X four-way match. Austin Aries, Sami Zayn, Low-Ki, and Jack Evans stole the show. Definitely, I wouldn't say that all four guys didn't have any personality going into the match, because they did cut great promos before the match started. But definitely, you know, those four guys proved that, you know, just like LV had a great run